How you doing?
Hey, Paul.
What's this all about now, Will?
This is the one that you had wanted. You'd mentioned about scaling your agency. 5 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's going to be 9 a.m. y'all's time, which is 10 p.m. my time. Um,
Oh,
and
it's
just
9 a.m. in the morning. Okay, I thought it
yeah,
was at night. All right, gotcha.
because if I do it at night, then it's going to be back to back pretty much. So I'm just waiting on a couple of more people to get in, and then we'll get started. But this
So
one's going to be this,
your $97 course, dude, is your lead magnet to get us to the good course. Now I got you, man. I know what you're all about now.
nah.
Wait till the next course, Paul. At the end, it'll be me and Paul paying $10,000 for an hour with William just to talk about life.
Yeah,
I
I have clients that literally want to come. That want to come over here and hang out and stuff like that. So
yeah,
I told them.
No, that the picture you put up there was beautiful, man. Like of that.
Yeah, that's only the one that we went to yesterday is only an hour and a half away. When you're driving, I told my wife, I said, now this is a place I want to buy a house at. I want to buy a property at because it's literally as you're driving over the mountain, you can see, and it's literally aqua water, just crystal clear. And you walk over near the corals, and there's thousands of red starfish.
Oh, nice.
And now the one that's on my cover line, my Facebook cover is because, of course, Facebook has their issues or whatever. But basically, that one's in Palawan. I've been there once before, and that place is like paradise on earth. And that's actually where I'm gonna be after COVID's done. God willing, I'm gonna be taking the entire team there. So,
how long have you been in the Philippines?
Almost 2 years now.
Okay, so you got there before COVID, thankfully.
Yeah, I got here before COVID, and then right after that, like I'll go through it all, but basically we could go ahead and get started. We got enough people in here; they can catch up. Sure. So basically, let me tell my project manager just don't be recording. So, about I'll give you all the breakdown of everything and how it happened. Then I'll show you my calendar. Pretty much in this class, I just want to show you how I went from 4 or 5 clients to over, right now we're sitting well over 100. So just this week, I've signed probably 12 new clients. So, and onboarded and hired 5 new people. They're in training. So, but that being said, I've done SEO for 20 plus years. And then decided to move here. We hadn't actually decided to move here. We were going on vacation, really. I was living in West Virginia. I'd moved to West Virginia. I had tried getting a house and everything. I had great credit. My credit was clean as can be. I had signature loan credit. Basically, could walk in, here's the paper, sign it, walk out with whatever you wanted, and they kept denying me. Left and right, everything is being denied. And, all I ever wanted, I wanted a house with a farm pretty much so I could have my animals, live in my peace and quiet, work from home. I just wanted a handful of clients, and that was about it. And that's all I ever had. And then right around, I want to say, when was it? Probably around Mayish, June-ish, when we were going to leave to come here. And my 2 largest clients, one of which I got quite a bit of SEO in the medical field, was a healthcare professional. He had multiple locations. And then he called me up and he said, well, he didn't even call me up. He wrote me an email and said, I can no longer afford your services. And then right after that, within the same week, I had my other largest client do the same thing. Mind you, I'd already bought my plane tickets, already spent the $9,000 because it's cheap whenever you got to fly by yourself. But when you're flying with 3 kids, a wife, and yourself, round trip, it is not cheap. So did that. And when that happened, in my whole world, I was like, you go from, let's say with 4 clients, you're making over 7 grand to making a little over 1,000 a month. And I just was like devastated, but heartbroken. The one client was like a brother to me, and I put a lot of effort and time into it. And I couldn't believe the way, he cut me off for one, and didn't do a phone call, nothing, but life's lessons. And then I said, well, let's go ahead and go to the Philippines anyways. Get to the Philippines. And my mother-in-law was like, why are you worried? No big deal. So I got a house over here, because at the time we were building on the house. I had to do a tour one day and put it up there. But one of my mentors, Jeff, he's seen a lot of it. If you've seen my old Facebook, you've seen a lot of it anyways. But when we started out, the house was probably, let's say, 400 square foot. Now it's over 6,000 square foot. And but the house, when we came here, was about 3,000 square foot. Wasn't finished. But, we had our chickens, had our goats, had our cows, all that, all that jazz. And she said, why are you worried? You could just stay here. And the whole time I started thinking, you're right. I could stay here. I got a house. I got water, electric. Everything's paid for. What the hell am I worried about? And but then again, my mom and dad and family live in Jacksonville, Florida, where I was born and raised. And I went ahead, I called my friend up in West Virginia. I have a best friend that he still lives there. I still have some things there. And I had him pack everything up that I could. And we shipped them in what we call ballot buy-in boxes, or return boxes. And literally you could ship probably a 100-pound box for like $60. So we shipped tons and tons and tons of boxes, or he did here, got here right before COVID, had no intention on getting any more clients. I could tell you nights where I was working with the 4 or 5 clients I had. My wife, we started a laundry shop. We were making $200 a month off of that. I was sleeping at the laundry shop for good Wi-Fi and working through the night. And a lot of people, they see everything that we have now and they go, oh my God, you're so blessed. You're so awesome. Great big agency and all this crap. And I'm like, yeah, you didn't see the fact when I was sleeping on the floor in the laundry shop on a futon. Okay. You didn't see the fact when, I picked up one new client. He's an agency or BPO here. And I would stay up. I had to work for an agency in California through him as a BPO. They wanted me up from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. And I did that for several months before COVID. And when I met this man, he's on my friends list and everything. His name's John Signey. He runs an agency over here. He said, I don't see why you just don't start your own agency. You got enough, you got enough experience and everything. And then I just told him, I said, oh, honestly, I don't want to start an agency. I've ran an agency before. And at the time, because it's a pain. What happens is you wind up starting your agency. The easiest thing to me, the easiest thing in the world is getting clients. The hardest thing is the implementation, the tasks, the reporting, everything else that comes with it. At the time back home in the States, when I was running an agency before, the hardest thing was I had some VAs in the Philippines, and the biggest thing was the communication breakdown. And you'd wind up telling them to do, let's say 1 through 10, and they'll do 1, 2, 3, forget 5 and 6, then do 8, and then forget 9 and 10. So that was the hardest part with me. And I didn't want to have to deal with that again. I'd rather just have my handful of clients and deal with them myself and not have to worry about anything, just make my little bit of money. Then then COVID hits, and I started picking up 3 or 4 clients, and those 3 or 4 clients within 30, it was a little over 3 months, and I'll show you my calendar, went up to 30 clients. Now, less than a year later, we're well over 100 clients. And I'm going to give y'all, basically, I'm going to show y'all, it's pretty simple. Once you see what I'm going to show you, it's not like, to me, it's not rocket science. I could tell you who I listened to, what methods I applied, and everything. If you'll do step 1, 2, 3, 4, you can have a book calendar. You can have lots of clients and do everything do everything that that I've learned in the process. The biggest thing that I learned in my process, though, and we'll get to it, is systems. If you don't have systems, you will crash and burn faster than you'll grow. Let me go ahead and share this with you. How many of y'all know the guy's name? He's in ClickFunnels. His name's Blake Newbar. Blake Newbar. Okay. So when I started implementing the system, I had never met the man, never heard of the man. I kept seeing these stupid these funnels. You'll see all these marketers advertising, which is you'll see this cover and it looks like use your timeline for this, use your cover for this, and basically you'll get all these likes and everything. And I never knew that I was actually already implementing his system. And I met a client and then she said, hey, do you want Blake Newbar's stuff so you can go through it? And I went through it. I said, well, I'm already doing all this. I don't do a funnel. For one, I take people away from ClickFunnels and build them in WordPress and do it that way. But that was back then. Let me go ahead and open up, if I can, I'm going to screen share with y'all, but let me pull up my calendar first.
Will, is all this training going to be in another
Yes,
training
sir.
membership site?
Yes, sir. It's going to be the same. It's going to be in the same site, but in a separate section. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the videos in this. Okay, we'll do the videos. We'll do some spreadsheets and some different tactics I use. Then I also, as well with y'all, I will give you my tools that I use. And then on top of it, tell you some other things as well, make y'all's life a little bit easier.
William, do you have resources as well? Because I know everybody, like resources as far as hiring VAs and that kind of thing. Cool.
I have my number one guy, the guy that first hired me, John Signey. I have him. Then I have Jeff Veal, and then but between those two, Jeff has a team over in Manila, and then the other team that I know of, he mainly does sales, is going to be John Signey. He does lead generation.
But so you're kind of just using the local economy there, like because over here a lot of people say like Online Jobs PH is a good resource or something like that.
That's a good one. But the thing is that like the people I use, for instance, I just hired today. We probably hired 5 new people. 5 new people, and they're all going to a month worth of training. So, and we'll go through all that, but basically all of them are from, everyone that ever works with me graduated college. So, and a lot of people, oh, you're hiring cheap labor. Nah, I'm not. Not compared to most other people. Most other people are, they're going to get somebody, they're going to train them. They've never had any experience or anything. I could tell you, for instance, out of all of our staff, probably 5 of them went to school for engineering. So 4 of them are programmers. I mean, so it's, it's not as much as you'd make in the States, obviously, but it's, I could tell you the numbers, but let me pull up this real quick. Let me see if I can go back to March of last year, and then we'll do a screen share with you guys. So this is just to show you, can you see my calendar?
Yeah.
So this is around April of last year, and you could see pretty much I have nothing on here but holidays. I have like 1 or 2 clients down here I'm meeting with at the very end of May. See, this is where around March is why I started having a couple of clients here and there. And then still in April, then here's where the system starts kicking in. I slow down some, then I start building back up. I have periods where I'll say I need to take a break, and then I'll start kicking back up. Well, we're way past 2021, but this is this month, but we just ended. Then December, November, take a break. But so that's my calendar. Let me show you. So the system and this, now what I'm going to show you a lot of times, and this has happened to me 3 or 4 times. Let me see if I can pull up this. And you've already seen, if you've seen Blake Newbar, then you're gonna know exactly what I'm going to say to do. Is basically you're going to turn your Facebook profile into a website. It's what most people don't understand. So let me show you this part, because you'll see a lot of people, even they do some aspects of it but do other aspects wrong. This is Blake Newbar, multimillionaire, has done over $1 million. He's in 7-figure club in ClickFunnels. One of my clients, Savash, is in the 7-figure club. I've helped people with that. But this is the way he has his Facebook set up. You know, he'll post value, he'll post nice stuff here and there, classes, whatever. But overall, what he does is, and I started implementing this, and I didn't even meet the man, hadn't read his stuff or nothing, and I'll show you some of the basic covers I had. So this one right here, when you first come to it, you have a cover, has a button. Me and you both know that I can't click on this and go anywhere, but visualization, and you click on it, and then you see his group over here says launch your first $1 million sales funnel, fingers pointing down, go to this, and when you click on it, it takes you to his group. Mine, the way I had it set up, you'd click on it and it would take you to my Calendly, and you would book an appointment. And I'd say, in mine, for instance, when I first started, was I help business owners get found on Google. Now mine, prior to, let's say, last week when Facebook booted me, was I help agencies scale, or I white label agencies, etc. Then on the left-hand side, you'll see this is his featured image. Whenever you're filling out your information in Facebook, you can fill out this information. It says link up on mobile, and has his link up here, which is clickable again. And then if you click on it, once again, has his Facebook group. And I'm going to tell you why they're linking to Facebook group versus linking to an actual web link or somewhere else. It's taken me, 3 times of Facebook kicking my ass off to actually figure it out. But so then you go through his timeline. It has information. If you look on people that actually do this, they'll post value. They don't post too often here, but yet he's got 6,000 something friends. And what I used to do, and this is why you do what he's doing, and I'll show you why. First off, if you've been in ClickFunnels, one of the biggest things they're going to tell you to do is, who's your customer avatar? Who's your number one customer? As an agency, are you going to be a generalist, or are you going to be someone that specifically is going to gear towards, let's say, landscapers, roofers? And it's easier if you do it this way. Give me 1 second so I can turn off these notifications. Okay, till I'll turn it back on. All right. So what happens is you want to find out who's your number one customer avatar. Me, when I first started, I'm just a generalist. And now I'm still a generalist, but I only work with agencies, period. I don't really take on, if you come to me and say you have a small business, I might take you on, but generally speaking, I won't. Generally, it's agencies. When I say agency, I mean we handle 6 or more clients all at one time. That's it. Because I deal in wholesale pricing. I'm not even at my retail pricing, it's still discounted compared to the most of the agencies in the US. But nevertheless, you figure out who your avatar is. Then, for instance, okay, when it comes to GMB SEO, I went, let me look on Google. Let me look on Facebook. I go, Google my business. Let's see what's there. And then I found the largest groups. Which ones are the largest groups out there? When I first started, this group was probably about 6,000. In the past year, we're almost at 13. Since I have been moderator for the past, I would say 3 months, we went to almost 13K. When I started, we were just over 9K. So, but nevertheless, I found the groups I wanted to post in, and post, and then I joined them, all that. So what I would literally do, and this is as easy as it is for me, you go into these groups. I would look, this is how I started out. I'd literally go through here and I would literally read everything. I spent 2 to 3 hours a day at minimum, and I'd go through here and I'd look at what people's asking, and then I would answer their questions. And I'd spend 2 to 3 hours of my time. And I learned this from Gary Vee, listening to him, Thank You Economy, listening to the videos he says when he first started out doing his lives, and his YouTube videos look like shit. Mine look like crap. I really don't care. The fact is, you go in here, and the more and more you're answering questions, the more people are going to see that you're concerned, the more people are going to see you're giving value, the more they're going to reach out. I do not even go in here. One of the things I can't stand, I get them all the time. It says, as soon as they friend request you, it's, hey, how you doing? Cause you reach out. I've helped people scale just like yourself to over $1 million a year, blah, 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 blah. And you don't know jack shit about me. You don't know nothing about me. You have
the relationship first, right?
Exactly. There's nothing that you've done to show me that you care. One of my mentors told me a long time ago, he's like, really, he'd never cared about people, opinions that had no invested interest. If you have no invested interest in me, I could give a crap about what your opinion is. If you act like you care and actually help other people first, then you'll wind up reaping the benefits of it.
So Will, question if you don't mind. I took the Blake Newbar course. If you go to my profile, it's set up the exact same way.
Yep.
The only thing that we're doing there is I'm pushing to a landing page. Are you suggesting to push to a group that you create?
Now I'll get to it, and I'll tell you why. This took me 3 times of getting my butt kicked off of Facebook. So, and I've seen it done both ways, and people survive. And there's another guy I listen to now, John. And I really don't even care anymore when Facebook kicks me off, but there's a reason why I do things a certain way anymore, but I'll go through it all. So you go in here, we give value. I would go in here now. Once in a while, I don't even do it as often. I used to go in here once a week and say, giving free audits. Today's Winning Wednesday, and give free audits. There have been times I've done that. I've given over 100 audits, 100. And I ain't talking about your simple little, let me run it through a software audit. I'm talking about I go live, audit them, do a walkthrough, show them where their technical SEO problem is, I do a website audit and show them, this is why your site is awesome. This is why it sucks. Do you have this? Do you have this header? Do you have your phone number? Do you have a sticky menu? Is it set up? Do you have content and call to action? Content, call to action. Are you using forms? Do you have a big red button that says call now? What are you missing? What platform is it written? And I'd do all that. And then I'd also do the technical SEO. And then I started doing GeoGrids as well. And then people dig the GeoGrids. I have people all the time say, well, it's not the same as Google Search Console. I tell them all the time, well, you keep using Google Search Console, I'll use my GeoGrids and I'll keep going to the bank, But the thing is, I did those and people love them. Let me put it this way. If I did 20 audits, I would sign probably 5 people based on the audit, not talking to them, not messaging them, just doing the audit. And then they reach out to me, book an appointment, sign them up. That's simple. I had some people would want a one-off where you do technical SEO, mobile speed, charge them, get it done, and you move on. But overall, they became monthly clients. So you could do the same thing in your city, in your area. You could say roofing contractors. You can say landscaping and do the same thing. Basically, what I learned out of ClickFunnels was, you know, Catholics go to Catholic school, Baptist to Baptist school. The same thing groups are. Once I figured that out, now let me go to Paul's Facebook. See, and he kind of does the same thing. Just give me 30 minutes, click link below. And then when you click on it, he's sending you to his actual website. And I'll tell you why I won't do that. Just from
That's
my
a landing page, but
yeah,
okay.
mainly for my, I'll ask you a couple of questions about doing that. But then he has this here, which is the same thing I was doing. And then he has, you know, personality, has a picture of himself. He has some geogrids in here. He has some videos. See, I would always put some personal stuff, and now I put business stuff, but it would not be personal. It was always business. And then once in a while, hey, I'm hanging out with my team, stuff like that. Then he has this right here, you know, all these different things people see. And then, you know, so he has it set up the same way essentially I was. So there are two bad things when it comes to this, and some lessons I've learned I'll give you, okay? Facebook hates organic marketing. That's exactly what this is. I am trying to tell you, don't spend money with Facebook. That being said, Facebook knocks accounts down that do this all the time, but Facebook also takes accounts down that spend millions a year. I don't understand why they do it. I understand why they do it with organic marketing, but not with people that are spending millions a year. I just don't get it. You know, if you're giving me $1 million a year, I'm probably not going to make that big of a fuss, except I know this really hit and started major changes when the government stepped in for regulation. And in the States, at least, when old Zuckerberg went before Congress and they started really clamping down on a lot of things. So
get it close when this call's over.
And I'm expecting a lot of these further changes as well, you know, even possibly maybe Facebook being replaced, but we'll see. You know, I just don't know anymore. But the reason why I wouldn't send them here necessarily, it depends on how you have it set up. So I'm going to go over here. Yeah, you have it set up the way I would set up. So you're doing exactly what I would do. If you're going to send them to a landing page, make sure you get what? Their name, phone number, email address. What I tend to do the same thing, but the only difference is anymore, like before, is I would send them to a group. And here's why I'd send them to a group. I'd send them to a group where I'd send them to a funnel the way Paul does, because you send them to a group because Facebook, okay, I run another group that's over 50,000, not once have they ever taken it down, not one time. And we have community violations on a daily basis by dozens and dozens and dozens. So they just remove the content and done with. When you have a group, and let's say I have an offer and I send everybody to that group, for example, learn roofing marketing trips or gain more roofing clients. I don't know, something like that. They go there and all you're going to do is give value about how to gain more roofing jobs or contracting jobs, whatever field you choose. And that's all you post in there. You could have a course in there. You could have just information tips, ways in which you could, if you will, take these cold leads and warm them up to where they want to buy from you. And that's the whole point of the group. The benefit of having a group is if Facebook comes in and kicks your butt out like they did me, I have 5 or 6 other people that are admins or other accounts that could slip me back in as soon as I create another account. That's the point of having that Facebook group. I used to, because this has happened 3 or 4 times now, when Facebook would kick me off, and he's done this to another friend of mine as well. I used to be like, oh my God, the world's coming to an end. Now my friend, the guy I listened to, John Vaughn, who, you know, I used to, when I saw the guy, I couldn't stand him. I absolutely could not stand the man. But the thing is, now I like him, you know, and I listen to him. If you ever listen to him, he gets on, he says, he's got a very dirty mouth, but he sits there and the whole time he says, I'm not an effing marketer. I don't know how to do effing marketing. Everything's F. But the man's either crazy or he's a mad genius, because he'll also, in the same token, he says, you know, whenever they take my account down, I don't care anymore. I use one of his Google Chrome extensions. They take me down, and all I literally do, and I'll show you these extensions, and you've probably used some of them maybe. Use the extension. I go into the group. I literally find a group. Let's say it's about agency owners. High level is one of my favorite ones. Go into high level, and I literally go send, let's say 10, 20 friend requests, 50 friend requests, whatever. And I'm looking for people that are just agencies. I sit back, and this bot goes in there and literally adds every one of them for me without me doing anything. And one of the things John told me, you know, because I've talked to him about this, is, you know, he doesn't care if Facebook kicks him off anymore because of the sheer fact, the way he looks at it. Hey, I was at 4,000 friends. Facebook just gave me a reason to get 4,000 new more clients. And now I get to go to the bank again. So, you know, whatever. And he does it. I've seen him do it at least 3 times now. And I started this process, like I said, and it's happened probably 3 times. This is the biggest, when you start using your Facebook to do what I'm talking about, using it as a funnel, and like Blake Newbar and all these other guys talk about, you're putting yourself out there, especially with Facebook. Some of their community rules, for example, is if you ever go into a group, let's say 3 or 4 groups, and you share the same link or even the same picture or the same information, Facebook can and will, if someone reports it, report it as spam. And that's generally why they take someone's account down, like mine or someone else's. And so that's what winds up happening, is they take it down, and then you wind up, they want you to verify your ID. I verify my ID, and they say, nope, we just found that you've violated the community standards. So then you have to restart over again, which I've gotten to the point anymore. I don't mind doing it. I'm already at almost 500 friends. Once I hit 500, I'll probably be over 1,000 within a week or 2. Between, you know, 0 and let's say 400 or 500, you gotta go slow. Only add a couple of groups a week, not go in there and go guns blazing, adding 20, 30 groups, you know. And even when I had, let's say 30 groups, I'd take 3 or 4 of them, and those are the ones I was consistently, you know, going in and giving value. Up until 3 months ago, I was just a regular user. Then 3 months ago, the admin of the group asked me to come in and moderate that one group. And since then, it's taken off even more so for me. So
Will, are you saying, you know, go into these groups, add value? When you add value, you're answering questions? I get it. Are you offering,
no,
you know, live?
nothing.
Nothing. Okay. Just
The
adding value.
the only time, for example, I'll give you, see if I can pull one up. So if I go here, right, and I'm in this group, I would literally go through here. This guy actually right here, David Pickup, used to be a client of mine. So, and then you go in here, and I would read, during your daily SEO, do you use contracts? Why do you use them, or why don't you? And then I'd answer I'd wind up answering, you know, the question. But a lot of times someone would come in here, I can't change my GMB account. I don't have a postal code. So how do I do that? And they answer it. And then sometimes they'll come in here, you know, they'll ask, I can't seem to beat my competition. And then I'd answer it, and I'd say, hey, do you want me to do a live audit? And I would do a video audit on Loom, and then I placed it right in here, you know.
Gotcha.
But that's generally what I wind up doing. Let me see here, chat. Yep, John Vaughn is him. The software is actually not free, but he does have a free version, I believe, but I will send that to you. And I will show you it, you know, what it will do as well. But basically I went through here and I'd spend 2 or 3 hours in these groups just answering questions, just looking for things. Does using a specific landing page rather than a homepage improve rankings on GMB maps? You know, you'll see a lot of people come in here and answer questions now and you don't see it now because the fact is they took my old Facebook account, you would have seen it. But whenever I used to do posts, I would get, my engagements were not 3 or 4 or 5 people. This is what really got me. I'd have, let's say 70, 80. One time I had almost 300 comments. So it was an insane amount of traction. Like even this is 25 comments, 6. And I would literally, when someone comments on my stuff, I go answer every single one of them. You know, I put a lot of time into it, and that's what, it's not a duplicate. You can't just, you're going to have to either A, learn this yourself or have a very good VA that can do it. But literally go in here and just place every day. And like, you know, prior to this, I mean, if you had my old post, you would have seen it's like, it was an insane amount of traffic. But I'm trying to go through here if you can see it, but I doubt you will be able to see it from the old one. But basically go in these groups and let's say, who do you reach out to, Paul? Usually, who do you work with?
Yeah, we're diverse. Our agency's been around for, 16, 17 years. So we work in the mining space. We work with trucking companies. We work with associations, organizations. And then my big push is always rank and rent for myself for retirement to build out a bunch of assets and stuff. So I've done what you're saying, and I've earned a lot of business from a lot of people by doing just this process. Get in the groups, add the value, do not pitch. It comes to you.
Yeah.
So
that was the hardest part when I started, because I was always, hard sell. And then when I came in and started doing it, one of the guys that I couldn't stand at the time, still kind of rubs me the wrong way, is in the group. And he told me, he said, you don't have to say PM me or DM me. I was like, what do you mean don't PM me? The whole point of what I'm trying to do is get people to PM me. He said, trust me, you don't need to.
Yeah.
And then I stopped doing that. And then I also came out with my ebook. And then once I did that, that also changed. And then I started having other people. This is when I really knew it started hitting. When I started having other people say, hey, have you read Williams' book? And actually referring people to me saying, check out Williams' book, check out Williams' book, check out Williams' book. Then one day, Sheen, who's the group owner, if you actually look in here, this is another key I would tell you. If you don't have an ebook, you need to stop whatever you're doing or putting it off, and you need to get an ebook, period. If you go into, for instance, files here, there's my ebook.
Right.
Then on top of it, I'll show you one other thing. Then I started uploading sheets and stuff in here so people would see it. And then they did that. Then I took my ebook, put it on Amazon so I could say I'm a published author. And, that sort of thing. So that's the other aspect of it. So go ahead.
Can I make a suggestion on something that I've done, and I've done it now for 11 months, is I was told by one of my mentors to create a private Facebook group, call it Support Local Business in North Bay, and do Zoom interviews with business owners to try to get more attention and eyeballs onto them. I've done 250 interviews, over 100 grand in sales, people coming out of the woodwork. The value and the positioning that I put myself in my community has been phenomenal. So I would suggest, in my opinion, go out and build your own.
I already am. I never, when I first started the first course we're starting with, I never wanted to do a course ever. I absolutely hated being in ClickFunnels, and it's just everybody, course. And, you know, and that's all pretty much most of them do. And I started doing the course, and then I don't know how it happened. Anthony, who's in the group as well, he mentioned to me someone, and I said, "Oh, I've never even known the guy." He thought I maybe learned from him. And then out of nowhere, this guy named Stephen Toth. And most people in the SEO world would know exactly who Stephen is. Stephen's a very well trusted, very high level, if you will, type SEO guy. If you get him to back you, it's like, you know, it's good news for you. And Stephen reached out to me, and then he got me an interview, which we're going to be broadcasting in the group, the first group at least, with Dr. X. Dr. X is a guy that everybody thought I was. I was like, no, I have nothing to do with him, didn't learn from him. And I just got off an interview with him tonight too. And then also another one, which I'm going to be doing. No one else has heard about this in the group, so it will happen over the next few weeks or so. But Dr. X is the first one. Molly's another one. And then another one, the biggest one that no one knows about, is Craig Campbell, who's, you know, big time in black hat world and everything. He's probably the number one person you could think of. And I messaged him and I said something about doing an interview. He's like, sure, no problem. And I was like, I was baffled, because most of these guys, you would think, oh, they don't want to, you know, they're not going to interview little old me or whatever. But, you know, lately people have been wanting, if you reach out to them and just say, hey, I want to know about, like in your case, you're with Rank and Rent. Other people that are involved in Rank and Rent, or they're involved in the roofing industry or real estate with it. When it comes to roofing, because I used to do heavily in roofing, you know, realtors, house insurance, and all these other people, and we'd set up podcasts and stuff for them. But we've been considering it as well. And then another someone else I've talked to has been talking about doing that as well on a weekly basis. And I definitely see value in doing it, but I am definitely in the process of that as well, amongst everything else. But you know,
The private Facebook group idea really positions you in your market.
Yep.
And the business owners, think of it this way. You know, back in March, I was the only one reaching out to these business owners to say, look, Will, give me 10 minutes. Let's get attention and eyeballs on you. Radio wasn't there. Papers weren't there. Online blogs weren't there. Little old Paul from Clark Communications was there. The cred and the authority that I gained in the market, our local market, it's unreal. And I'm still doing it. It's 11 months, 250 interviews in the bank. I tell you this.
How many interviews are you doing a week or a month?
It'll vary. Like I've got 2 today, 1 tomorrow. Like it's great. These are 12 and 14-hour days. When you get the videos in, then you get the post-production in, because you got to add, you can go to my page to see them. You got to add logos and stuff. But not only do I collect all these email addresses that I've not ever pitched anything to, because I don't have to, because they're coming to me, but these business owners, they may not buy what I'm selling, but they'll take my phone call.
Yep.
That's the most important thing, right? All these bits. So now we took the group from North Bay to Northern Ontario, and we're stretching it out, and we're interviewing some pretty big weights like MPs and MPPs. So again, the authority and the credibility is just stacking one after the other. And it is a lights out strategy that came from Dan Klein. He's got a massive group online, massive marketer, and it's his idea. I just implemented it, and I'm too stupid to quit.
Yeah, there's another guy I know that did that. He did, you know, I want to say Nathaniel or Nate Hirsch. He did, it's a VA agency, I want to say Upwork or something along those lines. Basically, I can pull him up. He did the same thing. He sold the thing for over several million. And then now he just started up a new one where he's teaching people how to get VAs, train them on SOPs. And because it's going to bug me if I don't see it. Nate Hirsch. But
well, and even to just on Paul's point, right? Because we're in the same group. you don't have to start this from the scratch, guys. Like there's plenty of people out there who actually will sell these groups to you. So that may be another option as well. If you reach out to the admin and say, hey, I'd love to, be a moderator. What's that worth? And just explore. But, Paul's right. It is a great way of positioning yourself as an authority in the local market.
Yeah, that's basically with the Google group. I did it for, mind you, let's say 6-7 months of just doing it, not moderating it and nothing. And then finally he says, I've been meaning to ask you, would you want to moderate the group? I was like, I'd love to. Now I'm like, I'd like to buy the fucking thing. But I don't think he's willing to sell yet. But I have bought it. The other one I did buy it's now over 50,000. Whenever we first started, it was over 20,000. And that's in less than a year too. So, but definitely the biggest key for me was those groups. And then, like I said, the ebook, and then getting them in your funnel. The reason why I say, like Paul's doing the website and getting your email, my other friend, mentor Jeff, he does the same thing. We do it with the email list, is because you're building up your email list. Because let's say Facebook does kick you off. Well, now it won't matter because now I got their email and I send out an email blast. Because they do this. There's another guy in the SEO world. They did this recently too, which is Chase Rayner. And he's a guy I follow. And he's one of the few people I actually will watch a lot of. And now he's not on Facebook. He uses his girlfriend's account, and he comes in there and he drops value and videos and stuff like that. And he's actually pulling people away from that into a private group as well on I forget what it's called, but basically it's totally off of all social media completely. But
you have to own the list for control.
Correct.
You can't rely on Facebook and all these platforms. It's going to bite you. So you got to get their emails. You got to own the groups somehow, some way.
Yep.
Too many people have lost their groups. And, so at any point, I'm always trying to look for the email, give them something free, get the email. Even though email open rates are 20, 22, 23 points, you still have a better chance with their email.
And that's what the first time when I did it, I would just say, hey, I'll give you a free audit, and no big deal. I was just trying to get my name out there. Now I'll say, they'll ask me for an audit, and I'll say, sure, what's your email? Give me your email address, and then I'll send it to you. And Jeff, he does monthly newsletters, and he'll send out value. Hey, you want the 20 points of SEO, whatever. And then he'll send out an ebook, and then it collects the, email. Therefore, now you have an email list. I used to read some of this stuff. I was like, I don't know about that. Where Russell Brunson would say, if you have 10,000 emails, I could guarantee you probably going to make about $10,000 a month. I could tell you that now for me, if you don't have an ebook, you need to get an ebook. You need to build an email list. And if you'll do that and go in these groups and do that, there's no reason, absolutely no reason that you can't make at least 6 figures, at least. At least. I don't see if you're doing everything right, you should be able to easily do it. The tools, I'll show you this one real quick.
Hey, William, when you did your ebook, did you outsource that to like a content writer, or
I outsourced the whole thing?
Okay. But I'm sure you provided them.
I give them content, and I give them an outline. And this is what most people don't understand. You'll tell them, I got to write an ebook. And they'll say, for example, well, I don't know how to write, or it's so hard. I don't have time, And I tell them, say, well, you know what? I have 3 kids. I homeschool them all, run an agency. I have about 12 construction workers here at all times on top of my agency. So we got 30 plus people here every day that I have to manage. And then on top of it, you got to write an ebook. So the easiest way to write an ebook, from my experience, it'd be step 1 if you really want to get down to it, is let's say it's going to be roofing marketing. Now, I'm sure if you know the roofing industry, there are certain things about roofing, what to look out for. Let's say an ebook, 10 points that'll help save you $100,000 in damages when getting a roof, something, and then you write out an outline, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. It's basically an outline of what do you want to talk about. You give it to your VA, the VA writes it. And this is in writing, it's called ghost writing. Then on top of it, this is other things I learned with Russell is then you have PLR, private label rights. Then you have public domain rights. There are books out there that you can actually find that are public domain. You can actually take that book, it's public domain, and then have it rewritten as if you wrote it and have it published as your own. Right? So you don't even have to write some of this stuff. Some of this stuff you can just either use what's available, or you give a VA an outline. My VA, it took her about a month to have that book written. You know, then the hardest part is then you have to have someone take it and put it in graphics. They put in all the graphics. Then after they do the graphics and lay it out, what are your colors? Well, mine's always red and black. I love red and black. Always have my damn chairs red and black. My couch out there is red and black. My wife had the cake made, it's red and black. My computer's red and black. So everything I do is that color. That's me. You may be, gold and orange or something, but whatever it is, I make sure I brand it that way. Okay. My business name, Rank Fortress. I didn't come up with that name. That was come up from a VA. I was literally going through we're sitting there going back and forth. What can we name it? It's got to be catchy. Got to be, something people will like. What does it mean when it comes to SEO? Now I had a guy, I believe he's in here, but he's like, he loves the name. I love his funnel. It's kind of similar to what I do with audits, and the other thing is I'll go to this. You can't be set where you think your agency has to be this way. It can only be this way. It's like when I first started, my website was probably 30 pages, all these services. I did everything, Facebook marketing, pay-per-click, all of it. And now I do two things. That's it. Website design, SEO. You want someone to do Facebook marketing? I'll send you somewhere else. But when it comes to an ebook, to stay on track, it's VA, but you write an outline. If you need someone to write it, let me know. I have a writer, and she does very well. She takes a little bit longer than I'd like, but she's still good. Then I have graphic designer, our guy on here, James, not James, but Jeff. He has a guy named James, and he's amazing. When I say amazing, he does amazing work. And for me to say that, I've seen some of his social media posts, everything, they're like eye-catching and stuff. So Jeff on here, he has an in-house graphic artist that does stuff like that. So you get your ebook done. Now, once you have that ebook done, that's when I started building out my funnel. Once you actually have an ebook, now I have something to offer. Once I have that offer, I just need a way to catch the emails. Okay. And one of the things, we'll go over, but for example, would be now I have a funnel. Okay. I'm going to build my funnel. What should my funnel be about? One of the images I have, and I'll show you this, I'll talk about this more next time, but is an image. Let me pull this up. Oh, let's see here. Y'all feel free to talk or jump in if you want.
I've got a 10 o'clock, so I might have to jump off if it's going to go longer than that. I didn't know it was in the morning, so I've scheduled my rest of my week to be okay.
We're not going to do the whole, question and answer thing too much. But for example, here's one that emphasizes, if you will, I take the problem and I blow it out of proportion. I take the issue, the pain points, and I say, why does my local ranking suck? Okay. Go ahead, scream. It's all good. I deal with it time and again. Business owners at the end of their rope feeling like the world is on top of them with nowhere to run, or nowhere to turn to. Crappy so-called SEO services, lies, garbage links, even more garbage results. Been there, done that many times. That's why I created Rank Fortress over 20 years ago. Then I talk about, want to know the secret? It's not your fault. That's right. It's not your product. It's not your offer. Only thing you ever did wrong was trust the fake gurus with their smoke and mirrors and their so-called SEO magicians. Okay. basically I take that and I take the pain points and I blow them completely out of proportion. Then I take, here's my solution. And then for me, it's an easy sell. Up until, let's say the past year, I had never closed anyone on a messenger. I had never done anything like that. Now I could tell you, I've closed people for more than I used to make in a month, in a day, on messenger. Never talked to them, nothing. Okay. And I just know that if you follow the system, it works. Now, I'm going to go through tomorrow, because we're not going to build too much longer here today, is I'm going to show you the tools I use, for example, doing the friend request. Then once we do the friend request and they actually friend us back, okay, what then? When they friend me, what's the next thing I should do? And I can tell you it's not going to be, hey, thanks for, friend requested me back or accepted my friend request, and I've helped someone scale to 7 figures a year, blah, 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 blah. The same old time again. And most of these people don't even change the wordings. You'll see the wordings shared by the same marketers 4, 5, 6 different times. Same thing. Just no thought put into it whatsoever. So those are the biggest things I would say. So if you have questions, if you don't, I'm pretty sure most of you do, but you should have my email address. I'll message it in here so all of you have it. I'm pretty sure you have it already. But if you have any questions, want some examples, or want me to look at your Facebook profile, send over your Facebook profile and I'll show you exactly what to do, how to change it. I'll give you the simplest one, and then we'll go one of the ones I started with. If I can pull it, let me see, because Facebook took down my old account. There we go. So this used to be, I'll show you, this used to be my old Facebook covers. So this one right here was one of the very first ones I started with. You see it? And that's all it was. And then it became, this. And then this is the one that really got me, was this one. I can't hear you right now. There you go.
Can you blow that one up, Will? You only see the little thumbnail.
Yep. I'm going to pull it over here. This is the one I last did, which got me a lot of traffic. This is the one prior to it.
We still can't see anything.
Still can't see it. Let me come out of here and see what you can't see and why you're not able to see it.
Will, are you able to post some of those into the member area?
Yeah, what I'll do is I'm going to post them on member area, but basically I just wanted to show you. But basically the very first one I started with was just literally, you see that photo that's on my timeline right now that's on the time cover? It was literally that with a button that said 20-year SEO expert. That's it. Then it became, the one with the grid, and then it became what it was now right before I got booted off, was the one I white label for agencies and had a bunch of different information on it. And I will tell you, for example, if and when you ever get booted off of Facebook, do not use the same photos ever again, because if you do, Facebook has AI, they will recognize it and they will boot you off again. I've had it happen. I had it happen the other day. I literally posted one of my old photos, and within 5 minutes they had already took me back off. So
wow.
I'm going to post this inside the group. I'm going to create the new group, and I'll send everybody a link. And then I'm going to post in the profile images and stuff. If you want me to audit your profile, send it to me via email, and I'll do that tomorrow in the group as well. But it's good having you, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow, okay? All right.
Thanks, William. We'll see you in the morning.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
See you then. Bye.